What's poppin'? It's your boy Young Galaxy, and I'm back at it with another banger. Now, today, what we're gonna talk about is why people who hate weed are so damn stupid. So, what we're gonna start off with is the fact that weed is a medicine slash supplement. And like any medicine slash supplement, there are good effects and there are adverse effects depending on the use. And just like any medicine or supplement, there can be adverse effects. Let me take AIDS for example. If you have AIDS, you take AIDS medicine. The AIDS medicine may have adverse effects. If you don't have AIDS and then you take AIDS medicine, the adverse effects are going to seem like awful. Like I'm taking this and I'm it's supposed to be good, and I have adverse effects. If you had AIDS, the good effect is you stay alive, and the adverse effects you just live with because it's a medicine. It has adverse effects. The good effect, you stay alive, you stay healthy. If you don't have AIDS and you take AIDS medicine, you're only going to experience the adverse effects. And it's the same thing with weed. It's the same thing with weed. People who don't need to smoke weed, and when they have adverse effects like I don't know, sore lungs or they fiend for it when they don't have it, they start to talk down on weed. They start to say negative things about weed. When in all reality, if you had anxiety or if you had depression or if you had pain and you use weed, you'd experience the good effects and then you'd live with the negative effects. So just like any other medicine, any other supplement, negative and positive effects, if you don't need it, don't use it. If you don't need it, you're going to think the negative effects are so bad. But if you need it, you're going to experience the positive effects, and then the negative effects you're going to live with because it's a medicine. Should just be obvious, but like some people are fucking stupid. Anyway, all medicine for every sickness can be found naturally in plants that grow in the field. So if you're consuming a plant that has a certain effect, there are benefits and drawbacks to it, which we've talked about. The benefit comes when you use a plant properly, in moderation, and when in need, which we've already talked about. And the drawbacks come when you misuse a plant, when you use a plant excessively, or when you don't need it. Weed is no different. People who say weed is bad after using weed do one of like 6 or 7 things. They use weed excessively because there are negative effects to using anything excessively. If you eat too much lettuce is great. But if you eat too much lettuce, your stomach is going to hurt. If you eat way too much lettuce, your body is going to feel like terrible. So if you use weed excessively, it's the same thing. Your body's overstimulated. Whatever negative effects you get negative effects. They use weed with other drugs like tobacco, alcohol, hard drugs like coke, perks, etc. When you use weed with other things, you take on the negative effects of those other things, especially when those other things are negative. Like if every time you smoke, you drink alcohol, then you really can't complain about weed because you're drinking alcohol. Alcohol has tons of negative effects. And some people might not think alcohol has negative effects. I feel sorry for you. You're stupid. just to put it plainly and simply, because this video can't go on forever. I just feel sorry for you. You're a dumbass. Like, stop drinking. Stop drinking. So, thing number 3, they don't use weed in a cleanly manner. They keep their weed in unclean conditions. They get infections regularly. They don't clean their bowls. We all know somebody like this. You go to their house, you can't smoke out of their bowl because they do not clean their bowl. They do not clean their bong. And they assume everybody smokes like this, but it's really just their dirty ass that needs to clean their shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't just take raw nugs and just shove them in your pocket. Your pocket has lint. Your pocket has bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's dirty. You can't just put your weed on a desk. You have to clean and disinfect that desk first before you even do that. But I wouldn't even recommend doing that. Put your weed in a tray and always clean and disinfect that tray once a week at least. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the use. And fourthly, they smoke weed and do nothing. Let their life pass by, then blame the herb for their own laziness. If you're a lazy person, I highly recommend you do not smoke weed. Because weed is really for people who are motivated. Think about it. You can't even buy weed if you don't even have a job. So if you don't have a job and you're just scamming for weed, scamming people for smokeouts and shit, I don't know, man. You really can't. You can't be unmotivated and smoke weed. It's just like Juicy J said in that song. Stay high, stay motivated, stay hustling. You know what I'm saying? Some people never grew up on Juicy J. Y'all need to go back and listen to the old trap shit, nigga. Real talk, bro. Stay high, stay motivated, and stay hustling. Don't be one of these bitch ass niggas who are out here smoking weed, doing nothing with their fucking life. Only know how to buy a dime and get faded for fucking 30 minutes and then fiend for the next 24 hours. So, and reason number 6, they have no self-control. People who say weed is bad after using weed, the reason number 6, they have no self-control. You have to have self-control, man. Whenever you have something that's good, if you have no self-control with that thing is going to destroy you. Like if you have video games, play for an hour, play for 30 minutes. Don't play for 6 hours. If you play for 6 hours, the video game is going to destroy you. What time did you use to spend on business, on getting money, on your family? You know what I'm saying? So have self-control. It's just like food. If you have a fridge full of good food, tasty food, then you can't just go in your fridge and eat everything. You eat everything, your stomach's gonna hurt. You're gonna be fat as hell. With great value comes great responsibility. So don't blame other stoners or the plant itself for your lack of self-control. That lack of self-control, that's sitting around doing nothing, that was you. That wasn't the weed, man. Once again, I say, stay high, stay motivated, stay hustling. You need all of that. If you're going to stay high, you need the motivated and the hustling part. You know what I'm saying? You can't just get high and be like, okay, I'm just going to let the herb dictate what I do today. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Your motivation and your hustle dictates what you do in a day. So believe it or not, weed should be used at the right occasion and in moderation. Just like I said, at the right occasion when you need it and in moderation. But the thing is, we need to be focused on the right shit. As a society, we need to be focused on the right shit. We can't be young people talking about, oh, weed just destroyed my life. When it's just a plant, it's a medicine for people who need it, not you. People who need it, Mr. Weed destroyed my life. And right now in Texas, people are getting 1 year jail sentences for having 2 ounces of weed that they bought legally. 10 years for 5 pounds. So if you have 5 pounds, you're just stocked up. They want to give you 10 years. Also, they want to give you a life sentence if you have 50 pounds. So let's say you sell weed, life sentence. And we're talking about weed being bad for some reason, when it's just a plant that people need for anxiety, for depression, for pain, etc. People need this. If you don't need it, don't smoke it. Okay? If you don't need it, you're better off without it in most cases. You know what I'm saying? The case where you might need it, if you don't might use it if you don't need it, is if you understand the plant and if you appreciate the effects. If you don't appreciate the effects, why the fuck are you using something in the first place? You're almost like a crackhead. You know what I'm saying? If you don't appreciate the effects, you know what I'm saying? You're just using something to use it, and you're glued to using it. Just like crack, bro. So, right now, what's a better use of our time? Instead of blaming weed for our shortcomings and failures, which it is not responsible for God's sakes, is just a plant. That's a medicine. Support people who have to do life sentences for the plant, because there are many people doing life sentences for weed right now. We need to support them. And I'm even adding a little bit to this video. There, specifically in Texas, there's a group called Texas NORML. Support them. Send them money. Support them. Texans for Responsible Marijuana Policy. Support those people. Once again, that's Texans for Responsible Marijuana Policy. It's a policy group. It's an advocacy group. And they're a broad coalition that lobbies to reduce criminal penalties for low-level possession and expand medical access. And also the Texas Hemp Business Council. Support these people. Okay? Nobody should do years in prison for ounces of weed. Like, that just goes without saying. That's fucking stupid. Okay? Like, It's stupid, and it's all because of the tobacco industry, the alcohol industry, all these industries that are dying out because they're killing people. They're trying to get rid of weed because it's not killing people and taking and sending people to jail. If it's legal, it's not sending people to jail, and the people who profit off of people going to jail. Think about it. You profit off a motherfucker going to jail, off of a decent amount of the population going to jail for something that they didn't even fucking do wrong. You profit off that shit. So fuck those people, okay? Okay? So be smart about what you consume. Understand that medicine comes from the field and the forest and nature and not the lab. Be mindful of other people's needs and other people's lifestyles. Keep loving each other. It's your boy Young Galaxy. Fuck the haters. I'm out of here.